Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, dynasty tomorrow.
Happy Wealthy Wednesday. Come on in, champions. Come on in. Today's going to be incredible. My guest speaker, I'm telling you, she's going to bring the fire. We are already having a fire conversation backstage. It should have been broadcasted, but I'm telling you, she's ready. Today's going to be really, really epic. So come on in. Let us know, where are you joining us from? We are live on LinkedIn. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. So let us know where you're joining us from. And I have to tell you, today's conversation is a conversation that is so needed. It is a conversation that may be difficult for a lot of people. So be forewarned, right? But don't worry, we're here with you. It's going to be okay. Get your fuzzy slippers, get something warm to drink, get a cozy blanket. This is a tough conversation, but it's such a needed conversation. Oh my goodness, we're not live on LinkedIn. Okay. So this is so crazy. Champions don't panic, we pivot. We're going to view on LinkedIn. Okay, so we're not live on LinkedIn. I'm not sure why, but we're live on Jackie Holberg's channel. If you're on LinkedIn, join us on Jackie Holberg's channel. My channel on LinkedIn isn't working. I'm not sure what happens. Hey, don't you love technology? Technology always technologies us sometimes, right? I don't know what's happening, but we're here. See, I always know when it's going to be an incredible conversation because the ether tries to block it. Okay, this is what I promise you, you're going to want to go back and listen to. And our topic today is the high price of I love you when relationships drain your finances. That's so good. I'm going to say it again. The high price of I love you when relationships drain your finances. I'm pretty sure if you're of any age, if you're watching this, you've had the experience of having a relationship that wasn't taking care of you financially. And it could be a love interest, it could be a friendship, it could be a family member. So there's a lot of feelings when it comes to about money. And when money and relationships come together and they're not congruent, it can really end up in a disaster. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. And I truly don't even know how to really quantify what she's really means to me. I actually connected with her on these LinkedIn audio rooms. If you have been around a little while, you know about these LinkedIn audio rooms. They were wonderful spaces where we could listen in. And she hosts this incredible event called Wishful Wednesday. And her voice was so intoxicating, so soothing. And they're highlighting everybody's wishes and also just keeping everything just safe and warm and fuzzy. And I loved hearing the wishes, but I also adored listening to her voice. She brings such enthusiasm and passion everywhere she goes. And so today I'm telling you, this is going to be wonderful because she's really, truly the perfect person to have this conversation. Well, this Jackie Holberg is a LMSW. She runs a nonprofit focusing on reducing crime and conflict. We all need to reduce more crime and conflict. She's a licensed master social worker, certified mediator, host of Just Jacks and Guests, and runs Just Jacks at Advising, where her passion is cultivating positive relationships, increasing romance. I love that. And encouraging everyone to be happier, healthier, and safer. She's tattooed, a former feral cat mom, has 2 amazing kiddos, is a member of the 2350 network, and has traveled to all 50 states, co-hosts Wishful Wednesdays, and has written in over 4 anthologies. She's done a lot, but has much more to do. Jackie is currently in the process of trying to be a living kidney donor. That's incredible. And is desperately trying to grow her TikTok page to increase her visibility of healthy relationships. So if you're on TikTok, make sure you're following over there. So please give it up for my incredible guest speaker, Miss Jackie Hulbert. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday, my love. It is Wishful Wednesday, and it's also our Wealthy Wednesday. So we're wishing and wealthing all at the same time.
It's a beautiful day when you can wish and you can be wealthy. I love it so much. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Well, I love this topic. When I saw this topic, I about just flew out of my chair. I was happy and emotional, and also knowing that this is a conversation that needs to be had and is not discussed. I touch on it here and there, but it really is a conversation. So share with us why you wanted to talk about this.
It's one of those conversations that nobody wants to talk about, but it is something that impacts all areas of humans. It impacts us in relationships. It impacts us in the way we look at other humans, whether they're our friends, whether it's somebody we're dating. And we can get pretty cranky if somebody jacks us out of money, or if we thought we had the same expectation going into a relationship and we don't. And so what happens is people start feeling guilty. They start feeling angry. They get mad at that person, but yet they're embarrassed. They don't have the money to do things they thought they could. And then they don't talk about it. So what happens when we don't talk about things, Leah? It gets worse and worse, and it gets deeper and deeper. And then there's issues that could involve things as much as divorce or violence or a separation, or getting people mad at each other and then having to rebuild yourself financially on top of it all. It could mean some issues with the way people treat you on social media or ostracize you in a family capacity. And it's something that, why can't we talk about it earlier? And so that's what I'm trying to do. I want to do all the good stuff and have people happier in general. And I truly believe when you're not happy with yourself, you're going to be not happy to other people. And it's going to maybe be kind of fake at first, but then it's going to turn to anger and violence and all the icky stuff. And if you're surrounding yourself with people that make you feel that way, even if you don't want to be that person, you're going to probably turn into it. So I'm trying to help make sure that you're feeling good about yourself, and who you're in a relationship with, who you're dating with is appropriate, so that you don't have to get stuck and get angry and feel bitter and all those things.
Woo! Clip that. That was a mic drop right there. Doesn't she have amazing words? I love that you can just go on and you have this incredible flow, and you keep I just adore your voice. I want you to start reading books. Okay. I want you to be a book reader. So what I think about is, when I saw this topic, I immediately think of my clients. Okay. And there's a couple of different ways that people come together. Some people are spender. That is a difficult relationship, because they both want to spend. They both want to take the trip to Tahiti every other weekend. They both want the famous luxury brands and the cars and all those things. And so they have generally lots of debt, lots of credit card, and they usually don't have a lot in savings. Okay, that's a spender. At least they're on the same sheet of music. They're both happy, but they're broke. Okay, a lot of times. And then you've got the spender saver. Okay, That is an interesting dynamic, because one wants to take the trip every weekend to Tahiti, but the other one is constantly trying to not take the trip so they can put some money aside. And sometimes that can end up in a situation where the spender is secretly spending money. They've got secret credit cards. They've got balances. They take out personal loans. Believe it or not, they get surgeries it's just, what I see isn't crazy. Mm-hmm. And the easiest ones are the saver. When you got a saver, they are both clipping coupons. They don't want the trip to Tahiti. They said, you know what, we can save up in 10 years and we'll do it when we can pay cash for it. Those are easy ones. They're squirreling away every penny. They both celebrate but they do it for free, right? They do the free celebration when they get to that milestone, they get to that next level, when they pay off the credit cards. But most of them don't have credit cards because they're the saver. So what would you share about that? Like, what have you seen in relationships?
I love how you designated the 3 areas. And I think there's a little gray in a couple of them, because I'm super thankful that you hit on when one is a spender and one isn't, they start to hide money. They start to hide receipts. They maybe get a credit card nobody knows about, because if you haven't established financial boundaries when you first start dating, sometimes before the first date, especially when you're Gen X like me and you are in the dating world, you come with your own. Do you have a budget? What is your financial mindset? Do you have retirement? Do you have savings? Do you have this thing? And if you just assume that somebody your age, somebody that you found attractive or something is going to be just like you, and you start hanging out, you develop this relationship, and then all of a sudden they tell you about they have to pay for 6 kids in child support, they're in debt, they've been in bankruptcy, they've done this. It does not mean they're a bad person. It means that you probably aren't going to align financially. And are you comfortable and ready to possibly have to bail them out and drain them and pay for everything? Now, this is not a slam on anybody that has financial burdens. Anybody can lose their job overnight. Anybody can go into debt because of some kind of medical or anything you do. This is not to shame people. This is not saying don't date somebody that doesn't have a financial background. It is to say be aware of it. Talk about it, communicate about it. There are people that will scam you even before the date, Leah. Like there are people that are like, I've worked with a lot of guys that will tell me that these beautiful women will message them and say, oh, I can't wait to come see you. I want to come visit you so bad, but I need 4 new tires before I can drive there. Do you mind helping me out so I can come spend the day with you? And some of them fall for it, Leah. And then they get embarrassed because then the girl ditches them. And this can happen on both sides. Men or women can treat people like this. But then they get embarrassed and then they're out the money and they don't want to tell anybody about it. So then we kind of blame ourselves. We start feeling guilty. We start, why would I do that? How could I fall for that? Nobody's going to want me. No, talk with people, be honest. And I'll be like, if somebody was to ask me for 4 new tires, I'd be like, baby, if we get married and you start paying all my bills, I'll be happy to pay for your tires, but it ain't happening until then. It's okay to say that, and maybe you're the one that is coming into the relationship really financially broken. Maybe you had a really rough last relationship. You lost your position. You're starting over, you're realigning with everything. It's okay to not be embarrassed and just say, hey, you know what? If you're looking for money, I ain't got it. And I want to be able to do a lot of fun things with you. We can do them for free, but I don't have a lot to contribute. Oh my gosh, I would love to hear that than to find out 3 months later, they've been trying to act like they had money and now they're in even more debt. And now they need me to bail them out or something, because that doesn't jive. And so, a lot of people will, your 3 categories, you said a lot of people might put them into the saver category because they think that sounds way better, but we're not. How many of us doom scroll on TikTok shop and buy stuff? How many are buying online? How many are gambling? How many spend how many dollars in the convenience store every day to get your midday tickets or to get your lotteries? Who's going to the casinos? Who's betting on sports and stuff? Is that something that has worked into your budget? Because if it's worked into your budget, if you're like, yep, I'm a saver, but I am going to drop $30 a week on this. I am going to budget $100 to go have fun at this event. That's okay. But if you start finding you're hiding it, if you are not talking about it in your relationship, or if you're not able to pay your electric bill because you're buying all this, it's probably going to lead to a lot of anger and a lot of disruption in the relationship if you're already in one of those relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I want to ask you, because I'm kind of in that dating, I'm not Gen X. I am Gen X. Actually, I am Gen X. So we're kind of, I'm in the section of the, the top half of that. But one thing for me is that if I can't pay my way, then I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody invites me to a dinner that, is more on the higher end, or even some type of an outing or something, if I don't feel comfortable spending those dollars and that, then I'm going to decline and, suggest something that I know I feel much better if we go to Starbucks here, or we just, let's forgo dinner. Let's just have dessert.
Yep.
Right. Or something like that. So at what point do we have this conversation? Say we're in the dating genre now. When do we have this conversation?
So everybody dates differently. So if you're new into dating, especially like I said, the older you are, sometimes we think that we have to share everything with this person because they are going to be the one. Guess what? They might be 1 out of 100, and you may not even want the person that you've been texting with or you've been seeing in the screen. But once you're in person, it might be a totally different vibe. So I always say, do what feels right to you without lying. Okay. So if you are somebody that is completely broke and they're like, hey, I want to go to this fancy restaurant and I want you to dress up and we'll go to this show or whatever, I'm going to say that is not my idea of a first date. I really like to meet somebody in a park, go for a walk at the beach. I want to do something. And then if they're willing to say, wow, I do want to just get to know you. Yeah, we don't have to spend money, but I want, or if they're just like, but no, I'll cover everything. I'm still not going to do that on the first date because I want to vibe with that person because I don't want to be stuck at a fancy restaurant with somebody. I'm not going to enjoy it, first of all, because I'm not even going to enjoy the meal. And I don't want something to change. There are people that will literally tell you, hey, baby, I got it. I'm covering everything. The man covers everything. Or they'll say, hey, can we go 50-50? Okay, if I know ahead of time, that's one thing. And if I have enough in my budget, then maybe I would do that. However, just because they say they're going to pay doesn't mean at the end of the date, they're going to be there when the check arrives. I can't tell you how many people tell you they will get up to go to the bathroom after dinner and they will get bailed on. There are really rough people out there. And
oh my gosh. Oh,
yes, it happens. And it is not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on the way they are in this world. So they've probably been hurt or angry, or they've got issues of their own. However, that doesn't help if you get left with an $80, $100, a $200 food bill, especially if you don't have the finances to cover that. So anytime you're meeting somebody new, I always encourage a free date. Do something that is very low rent, or like you said, maybe a coffee date where, hey, I got $8 to cover my bagel in a drink if I need to, type of a thing. Or I can buy water and just do the bagel, or I can do a coffee and no bagel. If you're able to cover that, that's fine. Or if you're talking with somebody and you're just like, wow, they are really broke, they actually outed themselves. I don't want to go to a park or a beach or just sit somewhere for the first date. I do want to go to a coffee shop. I will actually say, you know what? First date is on me. I don't like men to think that I'm expecting money. So I will grab you a bagel or a muffin and a coffee. And then I plan that. So then I know how much it is. But if I go there assuming somebody's going to pay for me and they bail, or if I feel like I'm obligated to them because it pays, it's going to impact whether I want to see that person again. And so I'd rather do something free and then get to know them as a human before I'm going to invest any more time or money with them. But if you have a really good relationship with this person, if you really feel confident with them, especially there's a lot of distance for a lot of online dating. If you're connecting with somebody and it's going to take a lot of money to physically visit that person or for them to physically be here, first of all, I would be as honest as possible before you put gas in that car and drive, you buy a plane ticket or any of the things, and just say, you know what? I love you. Say you have the money to get a plane ticket and come visit, but I don't have the financial means to pay for things when you get here. Or, hey, if you buy the plane ticket, I can pay for 3 meals. You got to do the rest. Talking about that shows that there's trust, that you're not hiding stuff. If we're 3 dates in and all of a sudden you say, yeah, I've been borrowing money to take you out, so you thought I had some money and I am flat broke, I'm going to be like, what else is he lying about?
oh my God. I'm like blown away. I have not heard, I probably live under a rock because I don't watch TV. So, all these social things, a lot of times I don't get. But I had no idea that people would invite you to a date and DoorDash ditch you on that and just be gone and you're left with a bill.
Yeah.
That I've never heard of.
Yeah. Some people are inherently mad at the world and they want to make other people mad. And other people are, I don't want this to sound any bit shaming or anything, but some people are in so need of attention from another human that they don't listen to the warning signs. They don't listen to that gut reaction saying, I'm thinking there's some red flags going on here. This person doesn't seem super legit. Or you are super trusting. I told you before we went live, or at least live on my page, because your page is not happy today with you. There are people that have played me because I am a very nice person. And not that they have actually asked me directly for money, but I could tell they were hurting. And I'm like, hey, do you want me to cover that? Do you need a little money to help you with your car or this or that? Thinking that they would be up to their words down the road, even if it took a while. They ditch you or they turn into a different person. So even if you are I'm a pretty good judge of character. I've been in the social work, mental health, corrections field a long time. And so I work with people that inherently lie to a lot of people. But when it's a personal, it's a little different because depending on my own mood, has it been a while since I've dated somebody? Am I kind of getting to that point where, man, it'd be nice to hang out with somebody other than just my friends, you know? And so if you're in that mindset, you might become more susceptible. It does not mean you're a bad person. It does not mean that you did something wrong. It just means that maybe next time you might want to listen to your responses a little more because your body is going to tell you, this is not safe. Something shady's here, even though they're handsome or pretty, or even if they're saying the right things. Are they really legit? And we get so caught up in our lives. We get so caught up in our jobs, our families, maybe our finances too, because we're stressed out about them, that we don't listen to our body responses. So when you take the time to get to know your brain, you listen to what's going on in your tummy, it makes such a difference, Leah. And then you can be more prepared next time. So I do work with people, if they don't know how to date in 2026, if they are tired, if they've given up on it, it is different dating when you're older than when you're younger. It's different dating if you're comfortable on social media, because there's a lot of people that just date through DMs. There's a lot of people that do dating apps. Not every dating app is created equally. Dating apps and online dating is not a bad thing. It is what happens when the world changes and adapts to technology. However, there are different things you can find out, warning signs online, than when you just bump into somebody in a grocery store to date them or meet them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that when you said, listen to your body. If something is out of alignment, and it doesn't mean that they're bad, but maybe they're just out of alignment with you. Maybe you are a saver and they are a spender, and that's just not comfortable for you. Now, by the way, I have clients who are successful in all of those categories, but they have communication, right? They allow, the saver allows the spender to spend within parameters. Like they said, guidelines, they're having that dialogue. And that's when things can be totally fine. Mm-hmm. So I do want to know about this, because this is really interesting that you're talking about dating, is that for me, I want somebody who has the same ideas about money. Doesn't mean that they have it in their pocketbook at that moment, but they are working towards that. Maybe they have a lot of debt and they understand that they're working on that, or maybe they're not, their income is a little bit wonky, but they're doing some things. Yeah. So that's what I look for. But what would you say about when it comes to that money dialogue?
Oh, without question, Leah, transparency is key. So again, if I don't know if I'm going to really want to spend time with this person, I don't need to tell them if I've got 17 credit cards, if I've been bankrupt, if I did that. I don't need to do that until I know we're going to go forward with a second, maybe third date. If it comes up and they say, hey, I am only comfortable dating somebody that is able to take care of themselves, they can contribute to this, I would be happy to say, you know what, that's probably not me right now, but once I get back on track, I could be there. I'm also not going to be like, if somebody says, yeah, before I date you, I need to know how much money you make, I'm going to be like, yeah, no, because if that's all you care about, that's one thing. So it's kind of like that balance line between being transparent, but yet protecting yourself, because some people might try to use it against you. If there's somebody that is, I have to be the biggest breadwinner and I need to make sure you're not going to be better than me, or if they're going to be like, cool, if you make enough, I don't have to work, I can go play. Okay, we're probably not in alignment with that. So it's important to talk about it early, but you don't have to give details. I literally had a man one time, I don't know why he did this. I think he was trying to impress me. He literally sent me a screenshot of what he had in his 401k. We hadn't even met in person yet. I don't want that personal information from you. That is not what I'm out for. I wanted to know you as a person, but yet I just want to make sure that you're not trying to steal money from me or anything. It's like, I can take your word to certain points, but when we're looking at that disclosure, when we're looking at that, you have to feel comfortable, just like if you had a medical illness, if you had a mental illness, if you had maybe a past being somebody with a criminal record or a victimization that you've had, you have to be comfortable and ready when you want to share. If you're feeling pressured by that person, or maybe even if your friends are like, you haven't told him yet, you haven't told her yet, you need to do that. If you're not comfortable, it's okay to say, you know what, I still want to date really slow. Let's do some more things that cost very little money. Let's maybe go for a walk. Let's go for maybe like a roller skating, bowling, whatever your physical activity level is. You go to the movies these days, you're dropping like $100. I mean, that is not an economical thing. Sorry for the movie gods, but it's just not a thing, and if it's something that you really want to do and you were planning on doing it anyways, you budgeted for it, you can offer that to them and say, you said you wanted to go out here. That's not really something I'm interested in because I don't have a whole bunch of money this month to spend. And I was already planning going here. Would you want to buy a ticket too? So that way it shows, I want to spend time with you. I want to do this with you, but I'm not covering your ticket because we're not to that point yet. And I don't have the money for it. That might lead into that discussion. And then if they're just like, oh my gosh, you should have told me that this is a rough month for you. I'm doing really okay. Maybe I will cover stuff. And then when we're ready, we can talk more details about who should pay or what we should do. There's a lot of people that are very old school. They think only the male should pay. Well, guess what? Times are different. There are some men that are so bitter because they feel like women just want to get a free dinner out of them that they don't ever want to pay again. They have to decide what they want to do. You get to set your boundaries. You get to decide. But if you are going to be absolutely hot and cold and never go into that gray a little bit, you may miss out on somebody because maybe they wanted you to talk about it a little bit more and they weren't going to judge you about it, but they needed a little bit more information.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to the genders, right, with that traditional gender role, then that can get a little sticky. So I always default back to, can I pay for this? Do I want to pay for this? And just assume that way. Or even in the beginning, I'm just like, let's go Dutch, because I don't like the idea. This is me. Okay, I could be wrong. But I feel like if somebody is paying for me, then it's kind of like you know what I mean? They have an expectation. Like, I don't know if I like you like that yet. So, hey, I am fine painting my way. If I'm not, then we'll go do the free stuff because I'm the queen of free things. I love beach walks. Hey, and then, McDonald's is right there. You just go get a quick little milkshake or something, 99-cent menu. And that's like that can be like watch the sunset. That's a spectacular moment and really get to know somebody and decide if you want to spend on them. Yes. So let's talk about the gender. Yeah. How about situations where, and I'm not saying this has ever happened, but it might have ever happened in a lifetime where the woman has the money and the man doesn't. And now the woman is, paying for things. Like in the beginning, it starts out really simple. I don't need 4 tires, baby, but could you pay me 1? All right. I don't want to go to Limoncello's, but can we go to the all-you-can-eat steak and lobster buffet? And, by the way, it would be really, really fun if we did these things. So, help us. Okay.
So this is the thing. There are both men and women, and there are alternative relationships too. Maybe there's 2 women dating, maybe 2 men, maybe it's a throuple. There's a lot of different dynamics today in dating than there used to be, or at least that used to be talked about openly. You have to decide what is your vibe. Do you, as a traditional male-female dating relationship, do you feel as the woman that he should pay for this? Because I have a lot of women I know that if he's not willing to pay for the first date, I am not giving my time and energy to him, because that means he's going to not want to pay for other things, and I don't want to be stressed about money. That's okay if that's how you feel, but you have to communicate that. And then if you're a male that has that traditional, that woman is never paying, I'm paying for anything. Okay, you just got to talk about it. You got to talk about it and just say, when I date, I expect to go Dutch. When I date, I expect to pay the whole bill. When I date for the first time, I expect you are paying for it because I am willing to give up my free time to meet with you. And it's kind of like a job interview. And I'm okay with a $10 meal or a $200 meal. You get to decide that, but I am not paying. Just talk about it. Be honest. And if you are like okay, I am in the mindset in this day and age, I am going to always pay for myself. Use those words too. If you guys do agree on going to someplace that's going to cost money. And just like if they're like, I've got these 2 tickets to this theater show. Do you want to go there? I've already bought them. You don't have to pay for it. I'll be like, oh my gosh, are you sure? If you're comfortable with that, but as long as I don't pay for the ticket, I'm absolutely willing to come. But if we get drinks afterwards, I'd be happy to pay for the first 2 rounds or something like that. I try to share that because I do get so many men that will tell me, I can't believe how many women take advantage of me. They want all this, but they're not willing to pay. And it's like, I also get a lot of men that are like, how dare you pay? You put your purse down, well, I don't carry a purse. I don't do that. They're like, put that money down, put that credit card down type of a thing. And it's like, why didn't we have that conversation before? Because if I'm willing to spend an hour, 2, 3 hours of my life with you, but I couldn't take 2 seconds to tell you, hey, we're doing something that's costing money. Who's paying? I'm okay, but I need to know how much money to bring, or I need to know how much money to budget for the week if I am covering myself, or if you're not able to cover your own self. Why can't we talk about that? Because what I can tell you as a woman, because that's what I am, if I have a man that tells me, you are never paying for anything unless I know he is very well off, that tells me that you're going to try to control me in other areas.
Boom.
And I want to be able to, if I really like somebody, I want to be like, baby, just put that card away. It's on me tonight. Or I want to buy something special. Or maybe I want to go someplace that I know they really don't want to go. That's not their vibe. And I'll be like, this one's on me because I know you're doing me a huge favor by spending a couple hours doing something you don't want to. I'm covering this. And so if they're going to be like, you're never paying or you're always paying, ooh, that sets a really bad tone for what else are they going to expect from you or demand from you or push you over on. And that just adds to the start of a really icky relationship.
Yeah, I like the never and the always, right? Don't always, I'm going to say it always right here. On the first, few dates before we really had that conversation, I'm going to always assume that I'm paying. I don't know. I feel maybe that's part of my upbringing. I don't know. Although you would think in my generation, we assume the man's going to pay, but I'm a very independent woman, yes. Right? If you haven't figured that out. So I'm used to doing what I want, when I want, like how I want. And if I want to roll deep, then I'm going to roll deep. But if I'm like not really sure, then we're going to maybe do that little 99-cent value meal. I don't even know if they have value meals anymore at McDonald's, but I don't know. They used to have that 99-cent meal. I want to welcome a few people who've joined us. They found us on. Yes, they found us on my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us, Omar. Great to see you. Oh my gosh. He hosts this most amazing show that I never want to participate on, but I always want to watch it. Okay. It is, what does he call it? The
Zoom party or
Zoom party. Zoom like Jeopardy.
Yep.
I think it's like Zoom. Oh my gosh. I think it's incredible. And he's just so full of energy. I adore Omar. Thank you for joining us, Omar. And he has a huge presence on YouTube. So thank you so much. And always great to see our incredible Nick and Guy Galindo. She is the brilliance behind Guiding Brilliant Writers. If you're looking for this year to write your first anthology, write your biography, this is a person, I promise you, she will take good care of you, and just adore her. And then, of course, we have the great Jackie herself is joining us from her YouTube channel. We love, love, love that. So, yes.
So we do have some people that found through my LinkedIn.
Please, yes.
So I don't think you can put their comments up, but David Causey's here. He's from Texas. He is such a good supporter. Gavin Towell is here. I don't know if I pronounced your last name right, Gavin. I hope so. And then we've got Lisa Fevick is here, and we've got Leslie Flowers. And of course, Jackie's on there too. This one lady that doesn't stop talking. She even texts during a show. So I appreciate you guys finding us and wanting to be part of this conversation, because when we talk money, it can be weird anyways. Sometimes it can be weird. And I love being able to catch Leah's show because I do not know everything about money by any chance. I do work a day job, so it's not always easy for me to catch her show. But when I do, I learn so much, and I learn how to not be as embarrassed or confused by things. And so just like dating, it can be embarrassing, it can be confusing. And so coming to a show that's talking both about dating, relationships, and finances, it's like a triple whammy, Leah. So I really appreciate people coming here. Because
It is just a monkey full of fun.
yes. And if you're starting to date somebody and you're not comfortable saying words to them, if you're not comfortable sharing your truth, why would you share your body with them? Why would you possibly move in with them and give them all of your energy and time? How can you not use your words with somebody that you're willing to do other things with? That's the thing that blows my mind. But yeah, I understand it because we, especially in America, we have been trained, keep your business private, be better than that person, look like you're the shining star. Don't tell them that you're hurting or you're doing anything wrong. So we forget that it's okay to share that. And that transparency is huge. And if they're going to ditch you because you say, yeah, I can't pay for a date today, or, hey, I'm broke as frick, or, I believe in old school and I want the guy to pay. And once we're actually a couple, then we can talk about blending our finances or something. If you're not willing to use those words, why would you go the next step? Why would you let them around your kids? Why would you bring them into your house when you don't know if they're going to steal or something?
Oh my gosh, this is so good, you guys. I promise you, I know this might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but these are conversations we need to have. And you said, if you're not going to talk about money with them, why would you share your body with them? We need to put that like a tattoo. I'm not a tattoo person, but I think I'm going to put that right on my forehead.
I could have one.
Yeah, you'll do it for me. What about, like, this is something too. I have a lot of, obviously, entrepreneur, strong women, making good money, and they're just doing it. And, now they get involved, or they get quickly involved with a relationship, and they find it out later. He had a bankruptcy. He's got alimony payments and credit card payments. And so what do we do at that point?
Yes. So again, don't beat yourself up. Don't fall into the guilt or the shame, and don't feel that you're stuck. Just because they make you smile and they say really pretty words when they text you, or because everybody's like, yay, you finally got a date, or you're in such a good relationship, does not mean that you are locked in with that person. I don't care if there's a ring on your finger, if you've actually signed the paperwork, or if you've just spent a couple months or years with this person. At any time, if things don't feel safe, whether it's financial safety, whether it's mental health safety, whether it's your physical safety, you can leave a relationship. It does not mean that you did something wrong, that you are not still a strong, intelligent woman. It means that this person chose not to be transparent with you. And if they are lying, or if they are purposely withholding things that are very important in a relationship, what else are they going to lie about? And it's better to get out now than to try to think you can fix them. Because if they've already lied to you, they're probably lying about other things. Now, granted, if it's just a date or two, or it's the first month and they're like testing you out, totally okay. But if you are talking about locking in with a relationship and you've actually made that kind of momentum and they don't fully disclose, I mean, I would love to meet somebody that doesn't fully disclose that they're like a billionaire and then all of a sudden drop that bomb on me, but that hasn't happened yet. It's okay to keep some things close to you, but it's not okay to purposely lie or mislead somebody, because that means not only are they possibly misleading you, but they might be doing this to other humans too. Because if I can do it to Jackie, maybe I'll do it to Leah too. And then I got two girls being willing to pay for me and do this kind of stuff. Again, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, and it doesn't mean that you missed something that makes you, not smart or something like that. It means you got caught up in all those feelings and that person used them against you, and it is their fault. It doesn't mean you get bitter. It means you learn and you grow and you find those awesome people that are willing to do the cool things that you want. And it's just like exercise, just like cooking. Like, I don't eat mammals. Okay. So I do eat some poultry and I eat some seafood. I'm not a full vegetarian, but I get some people that do not like hearing that I don't want a steak. I don't want to have ribs. And I'm like, you can eat them. That's fine. I'm not going to cook them and I'm not going to eat them, but you can sit there and have them if you want. But if you're going to judge me Or if you're going to kind of joke about it, oh, she won't eat that. What else are you going to joke about? Are you going to be talking behind my back about, oh, I bet you she'll pay for this or this? Because if they're joking about you in any capacity, they're not respecting you. They can't respect you as a human. Why would they respect you financially?
Yeah. And I love that point about if they're, because you're really talking about your core values, right? You don't eat certain things. That's one of your core values.
Yeah.
So if somebody is picking at that or making fun of it or just like, and I don't know what it is, but they're trying to get you to do that. And I relate to this in this way. I don't watch television. Now, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I was just with my niece this weekend. They love TV, so we watched a movie together. But oftentimes people want to get me to watch TV. Oh, you haven't seen this. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's wonderful. That's just not what I haven't watched TV in decades. Like, so there, so I could relate from the perspective of people saying, oh, well, you don't eat meat, but because you probably haven't enjoyed this steak or you haven't had it cooked this way. You're like, no, dude, this is who I am. That's how I roll. Like, it's over it.
Yep. Well, and in some relationships, some people are very committed to like their religion. And so they're like, okay, I make this amount of money. I am going to put this much to church every week, or I am going to donate to this charity so much a month or a year or something like that. And if your partner's just like, frick that, we need that money, I want to do this. Again, that comes back to those core values and it comes back to respect. And it's okay to say, I don't want to give to that kind of nonprofit, but you do you with your free money. And that's one thing a lot of families don't do either, or partnerships when they turn into a relationship, is we don't have the discussion always about, is it yours, mine, ours? And how much of that is ours? How much goes towards the bills versus how much goes to future retirement planning, vacations, stocks, CDs, whatever, versus how much is free money that, hey, every payday, I'm going to have this amount, you have this amount. I don't care what you buy with that. Like, I love going to thrift stores. I went and I spent under $100 and I got 4 new dresses, 8 new tops, and a couple other things. Some people drop that on one shirt. More than that on a pair of shoes. I am going to spend my money and that's going to last a long time when I have free money. But somebody else, they might be like, I'm not spending that $100. What if I need it for this and that? Okay, that's good. I'm not going to judge you. Or they might be like, wow, somebody else needed that $100 more than me. I gave it to the guy on the street corner because I wanted him. If you come back and judge them for that, they should judge you for what you spent your $100 on. Either agree to not care about what you do with your free money or be very strategic. We have no free money right now. Everything goes to bills and for retirement. Everything goes to bills in the child's education. Everything goes to bills in our vacation in 6 months. You guys have to have a communication. That dialogue is key because you are going to grow differently than your partner. Okay, so you may say you're on the same page, you're both savers today. Well, then what if one of you get a promotion and you start making a whole bunch extra money and now you're buying this and this and this. And then in 6 more months, that promotion money is gone and you've already built that spending lifestyle. Well, now are you going to start charging on the credit card and then your spouse gets cranky and then you don't tell them about it. And then all of a sudden you're so far in debt that the collectors come in to repo your car. Now you kind of got to tell your spouse. Who's going to trust you after that, especially if it's for months or years?
Yeah, I love that. And this is why you and I are so connected, because I love thrift stores. Those are my jam. Listen, out here, you go to thrift stores, you're going to find brand new stuff. I live in Monterey area. There's, oh my gosh. I mean, I found boots for like $20. I'm talking about $100. Look, yes, absolutely. If you love thrift stores, you got to come out. We got a thrift store together. You would love it. And Nick on Guy Galindo agrees with you. She goes to the thrift store every now and then, and she got some nice new cushions for her office for $7.99. I call that a deal every single day and twice on Sunday. I love it, love it, love it.
That's amazing. And there are some people that have a higher taste. They will never eat leftovers. They will never shop in a thrift store. And if you are financially sound enough and that is your lifestyle, That's okay. Now, for me, I would be like, do you know what we could do with that money? I'm like, I am not frugal, or I am as frugal as you can get. Like, I will go to a restaurant and I'll order something that I can bring and have 2 extra meals later with the leftovers. I have no problem eating the same thing for dinner 6 days in a row if it means I can go on vacation in 2 months, or if I can go to the thrift store, or if I can finally go out with the girls or something like that. It's what feels right to you. But if you're with a partner that's judging you for how you're spending, or they are doing stuff on the down low and not communicating with you, that's when the communication starts to break down, and the relationship can actually get to a point where you are either embarrassed, you are so in debt that you don't want to even talk to your friends about it, and then you start getting bitter. You start getting bitter and mad. Not only can it lead to a relationship breakup, it can lead to a lot of stress and anxiety. It can lead to physical ailments, just because we didn't use words earlier. So why can't we start using words? And if you don't know how, there are people like me out there that can help rebuild relationships if they're meant to be rebuilt. We can talk about the ick, because it's one thing to talk about it with just your partner and you get angry and you start throwing accusations. It's another thing when somebody else is in the room, even a virtual room, because then it's like, okay, I actually have to listen instead of just scream or just try to defend myself or blame you, because we're going to be very strategic about it. So my background is in mediation. It's in family reunification. I'm a licensed therapist, but nothing I do is therapeutic with this. This is all about reality based. It's about accountability and what do you want out of this? It is not saying you guys have to stay together or you guys got to get away from each other unless there's violence. I'm not going to ever advocate to stay in a violent relationship. But sometimes emotional violence, financial violence can be just as damaging, and it's so hard to recover from.
Yeah, so much gold in there. Boy, I call that a clip that for sure. I want to just share something because you touched on something that just is, I totally get this. Some people are not the leftover person. I am your leftover girl. I will do the same thing. I can take leftovers, like repackage them. I ate the same thing for lunch at work for like 2 years. Egg salad sandwich, an orange drink, crushed drink, and a bag of Doritos. Okay, when I love a food, I just love it. My daughter, Jackie, does not believe in leftovers. Apparently, I traumatized her when she was growing up with leftovers. So I would always wonder, after we had a meal, I was looking and there were no leftovers. And I'm like, wow, did we really eat all of that? That's really interesting. And then one day we had this amazing tri-tip steak, beautiful tri-tip steak. And I literally saw her scraping half a tri-tip into the trash. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, Mom, we don't eat leftovers. Well, I do. Don't borderline. Like, what are you doing? Anyway.
I love that. I can picture her doing that and you freaking out, because
I was like, what are you doing? Like, what happens? Is it poison?
I'm actually so glad you brought that up, because that relates into people that grow up in a poverty mindset, or people that grow up in a high class mindset where they have different expectations of waste and money and savings and all the things. And again, you can come from what they used to call it the other side of the tracks. You can come from two sides of the tracks, as long as you communicate and you have a joint plan. You don't have to have the same amount of bank money or money in the bank. But if you don't talk about how to use that and say, you know what, every time I have to have leftovers, it reminds me of when I was a kid and I had to scrape around for extra money for a second hot dog or something. If you're somebody that has to understand where your partner's coming from and you're just going to be flippant about it, it's not going to validate them, and it's going to lead to extra stress. So if you have a reason for that, it's okay. But for me, I would be freaking too. I'd be like, that's a full meal that somebody could have eaten. That saves me $20 to go do something else.
And it's not just the money, but the flavor is better the next day, right? Yes. So anyway, it's just.
But you don't have to take the time to cook, so you actually get a benefit of having extra time to do something else.
I am with you for sure.
I love this.
I want to touch on something, because this is kind of where I'm at here. And I have a lot of clients in this situation. Second time around, second relationship. They got you said yours, mine, ours, right? They got to have those conversations. Yes. They have a house, you have a house, you've got 401ks, they got IRAs and children, and we're talking about inheritance and dynasties and all of those things. What would you say to somebody who is more on the maybe baby boomer are, higher Gen X like I am, 1965, yay. What would you say to that? What are some things that we need to think about with this yours, mine, and ours when they're real things? We both have homes and families and separate
Yes.
lives. And now
Yes.
we're looking at how do we start to navigate all this?
Well, super important, because a lot depends on, do you already have a will and trust? Is everything planning to go to your kids? What if you have 4 kids and I just have 1 kid, or I don't have any kids? If something happens to me and you at the same time, are your kids going to get all my stuff? Because what if I want them to be to my niece and nephew? You have to have these discussions, but they don't have to be these serious headbang type of things, but it has to be something like, wow, we are thinking about consolidating our life. And unless you are married, depending on what state you live in, if you are not physically married by that legal document, you aren't entitled to anything unless you have some really good attorneys behind you and you have some kind of documentation somewhere. So if you decide that you are in this long-term partnership and you are blending finances, that's great if it works for you, but what happens when? Because the only thing every one of us humans have in common, every one of us, I don't care your background, your age, your religious beliefs, is we are all going to leave this earth. And we don't know if our time is later today, if it's in 2 weeks, 17 years, if we're going to live until we're 102. You have to decide, what does your financial end goal look like when you are gone? If you are somebody that doesn't have money in the bank, you have no 401k, you have nothing but debt, who is going to get that debt? Because the collectors are coming after somebody. And so that's one of the things I know you can advise on that, Leah, and you can have those kind of deep discussions with people, because we have to be able to talk about the ick. We have to talk about the possibility. It can take 1-2 hours to talk about that specific stuff, and then you're done. You don't have to revisit that unless something changes again. You have another kid, you end up jointly having a kid, you end up getting a new job where you do make more or you make less, then you might need to revisit it. But getting over those difficult conversations is so much easier than people think about it. They keep saying, they're in too good of a mood, I don't want to do it yet. Let's wait until next week. Let's schedule it. Well, guess what? Sometimes that schedule might be a different schedule than what you had. And what if you're left holding that? When you are able to use your words about finances, every other decision becomes easier. Because what if you do become mental or medically incompetent and you have to go into a nursing home or have a 24-hour caregiver? Is your partner, if you are not married, are they going to be able to cover your costs? Are they going to want you to still in that house? Or were they only dating you while you were fun and active and physically fit? Versus, are they going to be, I always think of this when I'm thinking about possibly getting into a relationship other than just dating somebody. Would they be somebody willing to push me in a wheelchair if I get incapacitated? And am I willing to push them in a wheelchair if they become incapacitated? If you can't say yes to both of those questions, let them know ahead of time. I am only dating you. We are not long-term. We are not blending families. We're not moving in together, because reality is somebody's body is going to have a different response tomorrow, 2 weeks from now. You never know what's going to happen. We are an aging society. We are a medically, there are just new medical diagnosis, mental health diagnosis that capacitate our body or mind in different ways than they used to, it seems like, because we're living longer, because we have other stresses and environmental issues, whatever the reason, it's reality. And if you are going to be in a relationship with somebody and you can't see being there during the worst of the worst, why stay around? And all those conversations are better if you've talked financially about what your expectations are first.
Boy, you are so insightful, because I just did this with one of my clients. They have yours, mine, ours. She has lots, he has nothing, monetarily. And they had this conversation. However, they're already married. Okay. They already have a baby. And so they put the conversation off quite a long ways. But what was really great was having that conversation of the what if and the how does this look and what does this look like and what should we do in these situations. And you could just see both of them, although it might have felt a little uncomfortable during some of these moments. When we were done, it was like, okay, we've addressed this. Now everything's on the table. We know what happens in case of A, B, or C, or D. Good. And the air is clear now. It just makes for a much more wholesome relationship going forward. And I love what you said, to use your words, like use your words about your money, use your words about your finances. What are your expectations? How are you conceptualizing this when it is that time? Because by the way, if we're fortunate enough, all of us will need a wheelchair at some point in our life, right? So are we going to be pushing? Are we pushing together? Will they push you? Like, who's going to help us with this?
Yes.
And having the conversation. And I got to say, this was the most fire thing you said, in my humble opinion, a will and a trust. People think it's a will. Some people think it's a trust. No, you need to have both of those documents that go together. That's why look at you. You're so incredible. You do know a lot about money. I love that.
This has been lovely. I know it's a difficult conversation. If more people could have it earlier on, or learn when they're dating and as teenagers or in your 20s, that it's okay to talk money. It's okay to talk about the ick that could happen down the road. It would be so much less stressful for so many. So again, I'm here and I'm available. If you're having trouble, you don't know how to start those difficult conversations with your partner, or you want help in the dating world, I can't wave a magic wand and make that person that you're really Google eyes on be the right person for you. But I can help you work towards making sure that you are staying true to your boundaries, whether they're financial boundaries or other boundaries, because you deserve to be treated with that respect and be honored and be able to do that to the person you love. Otherwise, you're just settling, and nobody wants to settle.
No, we do not want to settle, even if we go through the drive-through. This has been so great, so dynamic. I love it, Jackie. You are adorable. You made some new fans and friends. So how do people reach you? How do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So my LinkedIn is the easiest way to get a hold of me, or you can go to underneath my name right there is Just Jack's Advising. If you do justjacksadvising.com, it's my website. It has all the different things that I'm really passionate about. You can also, my YouTube is just like my name, except there's no comma between my last name and the LMSW. On TikTok, I'm on there as Tripping with Jax. Now, TikTok went through some weird things this week, so I don't know how active I'm going to be on there for a while, but follow my LinkedIn page, because I do have a business page called Just Jack's Advising on there too, but I do post most of my stuff on my individual page, which is my name, just like Leah has it on the screen. I would love to help you. Everything I talk about is confidential. So if you're just like, I don't know if I want to do this because I'm embarrassed. No, don't be embarrassed. You have no idea how many years of people's embarrassment I have kept in my heart, because I want to get you out of that. I want to get you happy and healthy. Guys, we have one life. We have one life. You deserve to enjoy it and feel comfortable and confident, whether you're solo, whether you're dating, or whether you're in a relationship that might stress you out. Let's get you back to being happy.
I love that. We're happy, and we're happier for having this conversation. Love you so much, Jackie.
Love you. Thank you.
And we will talk to you soon. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are watching this live, you just got a masterclass in relationships about money. Please share this with somebody who needs to hear this. And I'm going to go ahead and post this. Since it didn't post on my LinkedIn, I'm going to find a way to go ahead and post a replay on LinkedIn, because there's a lot of golden nuggets in here. And so if you got some value out of this, please share it. Please put a 1 in the comment if you're here with us live. If you're on Team Replay, we adore you, Team Replay. Share this with somebody, as we're here every single week. And now I want to share a little bit about what I do and how I help people. And we kind of touched on this during this episode, which is doing the living trust. I help a lot of families with living trust. A lot of people don't know that I do living trust. And this is how I had the conversation of the yours, mine, ours, right? When two people are getting married, and you know, when you're starting out by yourself and you both are starting out with nothing, that's one conversation. But when you're a little bit older in life, and now some people have more, and then, or even you both have a lot, or you have your own separate stuff, you really need to have that conversation. And I helped a family this past weekend. I traveled all the way to Las Vegas to help them. They wanted that in-person experience. And it was more of a true dialogue, unpacking the conversations. What happens if I pass away? Are you going to still be able to live in the home? If I pass away and my children are still minors, are you going to be willing to adopt my children and care for them here? If you pass away, then what do I bring your children into this household so that they're here to continue our family dynamics that we have worked so hard to create? And then also, what happens in the future? They're looking to build another business. They're looking to build another company. So how do we work that in? And that is all part of a conversation with a comprehensive estate plan, which some people call a living trust, but it's really estate planning, having the succession plannings, knowing about what happens if someone passes away, who takes over the business, who continues the business, how are we compensating you? And of course, about the finances and our children. So a lot of conversations, and it's not just a one-time event. It may take you a couple of days. It may take you a couple of weeks. Sometimes these are conversations that we start and then we start to unpack them over several months. It may be that you need more time to process it, and that's okay. I'm here to help you every step of the way. So when you're ready to build that dynasty, right? You're a dynasty builder. You want the dynasty builder. That's me. I'm here to help you build that dynasty. And by the way, every single one of you to a person can absolutely create your own family dynasty. If you're here, it's because you are the one in your family. You're supposed to make your family's name go on forever. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from. If you've got lots of debt right now, or you feel like you don't have enough month at the end of your money, you can go from zero to hero and totally transform your entire financial household. But it starts with a conversation. I'd love to chat with you. Book a No Pitch Coffee chat with me. I think we should have No Pitch Coffee chats go viral. I'm the queen of No Pitch Coffee chats. I think I had over 200 No Pitch Coffee chats in 2025. I intend to continue that in 2026. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. We love you so much. We're here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, where we always talk about wealth in all the areas, right? We talk about wealth in our faith, in our family, in our finance, in our fun, and also in food, because I'm a foodie, and even in philanthropic, right? I believe that givers gain. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your Wealthy Wednesday, champions. Thank you so much.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.